How you doing? Ooh, ooh, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Hey, hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome to the Deliberate Millionaire Stream. How are you doing? New week. Woo! Okay. Wow. What does this new week hold? Anyway, today, what I wanted to kind of bring to your attention or to talk about with you was this whole three-stage process that we go through when we're creating anything in our lives. Okay. Um, I am Rosemary Nonny Knight. I am the prosperity minister and the business coach for ambitious spiritual people who want to thrive, prosper, make at least six figures whilst living in their purpose. Okay. Now, I help you to leave behind the pain, the limiting beliefs of the past, and to rise victorious in your true design life. And I take you through a process. Okay. I take you through a process of deepening your connection to the divine. This is the magic, the miracles. This is the thing that powers everything that we do. And then the clearing the channel through which this power has to flow. Okay. So getting your mindset in the right place so that you don't have weird beliefs and weird stuff from the past that is just kind of holding you back. And then there's strategy. There needs to be a practical strategy. Now, so those three things need to happen: magic, mindset, strategy. Those three things need to happen in order to create a life where you are making 5 to 10K each and every month, if not more, and living in your purpose. So you're fulfilled, you're free, you're financially abundant, you are love drenched, you're happy, living an amazing life. This is possible for us. Now, it's going to take some doing because we've mostly been programmed to accept that the adult life is one of kind of depression, low level depression, where you just kind of just make it through the day. We don't say this, but that's the norm, isn't it? Really, that's the norm. But it doesn't have to be that way. Yes, yes, yes. The physical reality has a tendency to change up and down and up and down. But the way we live into that, the way we can create our life, we have the authority, we have the power when we have those three areas in place. I think magic, mindset, and strategy. When we have those three areas in place, we are the ones with the power. And that can seem, especially if you were brought up religious, that can seem kind of almost presumptuous to say that, but it's the truth. And so what I'm today, as I was kind of actually, I was going to do this yesterday, but didn't. And it was just this contemplation of what the process is of developing or creating a life, the things that people go through in order to create that free, fulfilled, financially abundant, love drenched life. You plant that seed. There's excitement, there's joy, there's the motivation. You're really motivated. But if we talk about it in the context, particularly of a business, because that's what I generally tend to help people with, it's in the context of a business, people get excited. They're so full of joy and motivation. They have this idea they're definitely going to change the world and make a difference to lots of people. And it's all so exciting and amazing. And they're sure that everything is going to happen quickly. And sometimes things actually start to happen quite quickly. And then there's another phase, there's another stage that happens. And this stage can last quite a while. After that initial excitement, that initial everything is working out for me and it's all going amazing, there's this second stage where it can almost feel like your vision is dying. You start to notice that things are slowing down. You start to notice you're not as excited about building this thing. Well, usually the lack of excitement comes as a result of the fact that you start seeing that your results are getting are slowing down because you've gone through that exciting phase where everything seemed to be happening, but then things seem to be slowing down, or maybe life just kind of took a turn for who knows where. And so you still have the vision, you still have the thing that you want to create, but you're getting less and less enthused by it. You start to feel as if there are things in the way. You start to question whether you can actually do this thing. You start to, it's almost like you go into a valley. Ultimately, you are at the top of the mountain and now you're in a deep, deep, deep valley. And as I said, it can go on for a while. This part, and this is why, the statistics say that lots of people don't actually make it in business. 80%, if not more, 90% fail because they come to this part, this second stage. After that initial excitement and motivation and everything is going amazing, you come to this second bit where everything is not going amazing. Okay. It feels hard. Life feels tedious. So you may have had that, as I said, that first exhilarating bit, but maybe you didn't quite get to the point where you could leave your job or something like that. So you're still in this phase where you're trying to now juggle two things. and it's taking its toll on you. You're getting tired, you're getting fed up, it's not going as fast as you thought it was going to go. So yes, you're kind of still excited, but the excitement is starting to wane. You start to wonder, is there a point am I doing this? You have probably people telling you, is there a point you're doing this? And as I said, there's no telling how long this valley stage can last. And it can feel like everything is falling apart. It can feel horrible. And then those that make it to stage 3, this is where the exhilaration returns. This is where you actually start to see, oh, I see that there was a reason that I had to go through all of that stuff. I don't believe necessarily, and I don't necessarily promote the whole, oh, you have to learn lessons and this and that, the other. The divine is trying to teach you lessons. I don't believe that the divine needs horrible circumstances to teach anybody any kind of lesson. Okay. Basically, I think sometimes we create our own stuff because, as I said, if we're not dealing with the 3 areas, so the magic, the mindset, and the strategy. So you might have the strategy down, but you may not have the mindset stuff down. And that's generally what starts to come up, particularly because business growth is extreme spiritual growth. Okay. So you're trying to grow this business and you're going to, all your fears and your doubts and your weird beliefs are coming up. And this is the valley place. And I mean, even in the exhilarated stage 3 bit, there's still going to be times when you wonder, how is this even happening for me? But you've learned at this point to not listen so deeply to the crazy voice. But whilst you're still in that second phase at the beginning, or in the middle, you don't know yet that you have weird beliefs. So it's not the divine trying to teach you anything. It's that you have to come through these weird beliefs, these weird ideas that you carry. You have to make mistakes. It's just part of it. The physical reality is going to be doing what the physical reality is doing. Okay. So life doesn't stop just because you decided you're going to live in your purpose. Life carries on. And this stage, I suppose I really want to help you to not give up in this middle valley bit, because the exhilaration, the stage 3, is inevitable. If you will do the mountaintop, do the valley, however long the valley takes, and then return to the mountaintop, if you will stay. It's like planting a seed, isn't it? You plant that seed into the ground. You have no idea what's happening in the ground. Okay. So for a while, it can look as if nothing is happening in the ground. Okay. And you just still have to keep watering it. You still have to keep, allowing it to get whatever nutrients it needs to get. And then finally, it grows. I was listening to Les Brown, and there was something about, I don't know, some kind of Chinese bamboo tree or something that takes 6 freaking years or something, 6 years or something before, after you planted that seed in the ground, you don't see anything for 6 years. But if you do not water that thing for every day for 6 years, then the thing will never come through. And that's sometimes like a business, because you don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know how long it's going to take. But what you can be sure of, if you allow yourself to be, is that you will break through. You will succeed if you will stay consistent doing what you need to do to bring it to life. And this is where clear strategy comes into play. And this is where, sometimes working with a mentor, working with a coach is absolutely, I don't even think there's a sometimes to it, because if you've never done this before, this is why you will drop off in the valley, because there's so many, I should try this and I should try that, and I should try the other, and all of that starts to get really overwhelming and confusing. And then you're trying this, trying that, you don't realize that because you keep trying this, trying that, trying the other, that is actually why you're staying in the valley even longer than you needed to, because you never do anything long enough. And I spoke about this in the last live stream I did. You never do anything long enough to actually see results. You keep thinking, that didn't work that fast, I'll try something else. That didn't work that fast, I'll try something else. And then until you start to feel like, is this ever going to work for me? And then you start to feel horrible. And this is where people start slowing down, and they're not that consistent anymore. Next thing you know, all they're doing is just what they used to do, and then wonder why life will never change for them. It's because ultimately you're giving more attention to what you used to do instead of giving attention to the things that you say you want. Listen, when you start to feel that loss of motivation, when you start to feel a real rise in doubt, one, definitely put yourself in an environment where you can speak this stuff out, and then you have a coach, you have a mentor who's saying to you, honey, this is normal. It's okay. You're going through the valley. Just stay the course. And you do need a coach that has courage as well, because frankly, it's easy for a coach or somebody else to say to you, or to try and keep telling you that it's how do I put this? Some coaches, in the process of trying to make it easier on you, cause you some issues. They don't intend to. They just want to make it easy for you. If that's, people's tendency is to try and make it look easy, but it isn't. Building a new life when you've created an old version, it isn't easy. It isn't always easy. Okay, there is a process that needs to happen, and none of us question this process when it comes to, it's like when I became a pharmacist. I didn't question how long it was going to take me to become a pharmacist. I just knew that that was the path. I had to do it, and I did it. But then it comes to a business, because it's so different for each individual person, nobody really knows exactly how long it's going to take you, and so it's not a well-trodden path. And so it can be difficult for you to hold on when it looks as if nothing is happening. But looks can be deceiving. Just because it looks like nothing is happening doesn't mean that it isn't. It just means that you're in the valley. And in the valley, there's lots of changes happening. Maybe you're structuring your business. Because it's like, to get to my business to where it is now, where I have evolution, I have opulence, I have affluence, I have things in a certain way. It took me years of trying this and trying that and not being confident about this and not being and this and that and the other, and getting clear about what it is that I want to do and not being sure whether I want to do this and all of that was part of the journey. And I still remember saying to my husband quite a few years ago, because he kept saying, well, why is this all taking so long? And it's like, I'd rather that it takes me 5-10 years or whatever, getting it right, because I intend to be in this business till I die, and I don't intend to die for at least another 80 years. So basically, so I may as well spend a little part of my time in the context of my whole life, 5-10 years, getting clear. Nobody needs to take as long as I took. Okay, let's just be clear. Nobody needs to take that long. And with guidance, you don't need to take that long, as long as you're willing to be coachable and teachable. It doesn't need to take that long. But I knew that I'd rather take the time to get my business to the way I want it, than rush, and then hate it, even when it succeeds, and then you're trapped there because it's making you money. You still hate it. You may as well be in a job you hate. I wanted something that I knew that I'd be able to do for as long as I want to do it. So if it meant that if it took a little while in the valley of figuring things out, then fine. But not everybody has that. Although I wouldn't have thought I had that resilience either until I did. You just keep taking it one day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time, and refuse to stop. Taking one day at a time, refuse to stop. You're not going to feel motivated all of the time. That doesn't mean anything. Because sometimes in your lack of motivation, you start to tell yourself that maybe this is not what I'm called to do. It's a lie. You're just not feeling motivated right now, because it can be hard. It's okay. Motivation sometimes goes up and goes down. That's fine, especially in the valley phase. It's just a normal part of you growing your vision. It's just normal. Okay. It is uncomfortable. It will challenge you, okay? You will need to shed old beliefs and old ways of doing things. But all of this is growing you. It's revealing the truth of you. Because when I look at myself now, I am so proud of me. I couldn't have seen this me years ago. I didn't even think I had it in me. And nobody else did either. In fact, when I mentioned I was going to be in business, people laughed at me. So basically, I didn't even think that I could do it. But then I realized I'm a heck of a lot stronger than I thought, and I am proud of me. So being in the valley, it shows you, reveals you to you. You wouldn't even have realized just how powerful you are until you went through that valley process. Okay, yes, we don't have to grow through pain. Sometimes we choose to. It's okay. It's okay until you learn how to grow through grace and joy. You will probably need to grow through pain and struggle, but that's okay, because you'll go to the other side and realize, maybe I didn't need to go through all of that. I could have made it easier. But the only way for you to know that is to go through. So be kind to yourself. When you're in that valley bit, understand that sometimes you're going to feel up, sometimes you're going to feel down. But it's like I say to my clients, there are daily musts that you do, regardless of how you feel. Daily musts get done. Have a set time that you're going to do certain things and do them. It's like I used to wake up at 4 o'clock every single morning because I knew that I needed to get my stuff done before my children woke up, before the rest of the day started. So 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock was my time to do my work. And it depends on what your life circumstances are. You may not need to wake up at 4 o'clock, but you do need to have a set time that you're going to do certain things, regardless of how you feel. Remember, we must act upon our goals and feel our feelings. We do not act upon our feelings. So do not expect to feel motivated every single time that you have to do something. Sometimes you just have to do it regardless of how you feel. Get out of your mind this idea that everything is supposed to happen really, 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 really quickly. Just because you have spent 90 days trying to build a business and it hasn't worked yet does not mean that if you did that it will never work. I say to clients, if you're going to come and work with me, at least give it a year. Give it a year. Okay, because yes, the first 90 days we will try and put your business together as long as you're willing to work with me and do it quickly as I work. Yeah, the first 90 days we put your business together, but that just because we put your business together like that doesn't mean that you then stop. You still have to do certain things consistently for a freaking year at least to really get significant results. So stop with this. Oh, it didn't work for me because I did it for 3 weeks and it didn't work, so I'm going to try something else. Oh, it didn't work for me. It's a recipe for pain when you do that, okay? You're going to need to just push through when it feels like nothing is happening and keep doing those consistent things consistently and stop listening to all the gurus and all of this telling you, oh, well, if you didn't do that in this time, then it must mean this. If you haven't tried anything, and some of you all really, really think about this, some of you have been in business for years, but you've never done anything consistently for a year. That was my story. I've done lots of things, but I've never gone deep into anything for a whole year. Have you? Really be honest with yourself about this. Have you actually done anything consistently for a year, or do you have that quick fix, quick instant gratification thing going on? And so every time you're changing your mind all the time, that will keep you in the valley a heck of a lot longer than you want to be there. Okay? Start to notice, however, that as you're coming out of the valley, you'll start to have little wins. Notice those. Be grateful for those. They will start to compound. They will start to compound. They will start to compound. But you have to go through the valley. You go through that excited phase, then you go to the valley phase, and then you return to an even more exhilarated phase. And then the chances as you continue to grow, there'll be the continual valley, and then the exhilaration, and then the valley, and then exhilaration. But you will learn that that's just part of the process. That's just part of the process. And sometimes, guys, it isn't about just working harder and harder and harder and doing more. Sometimes it is really about taking, it's like I started with no content at all. I now have like 12,000 pieces of content or something. At some point, I had to get to the point of realizing that it isn't about just creating more and more content. It's about taking that content, refining it, getting it better, making it better, using it in different ways, and all of that. Yeah, for some of y'all, you're so creative that you want to continue. And you know what? For a season, I was in that phase where I just loved, I'd rather create more than than refine what I had. But at some point, I also got to the point where the divine was saying to me, take what you have and refine it. Make it clearer, make it better, make it say more about what you're trying to say. And I still struggle with that. I'm not going to lie. I'd rather just write something different than refine what I have. But at the same time, I recognize that refining what I have, recycling it and making it, better, then has more of an effect actually on the results that I'm getting. So again, it's not just about working harder. It's about going deeper with what you're doing. So you have a strategy. Now really master that strategy. Rather than, oh, try this, try that, try the other. No, master the strategy, especially in that valley time when you're in that deep, dark place where it feels as if nothing is ever going to change. I promise you it is changing. You've literally planted a seed and it's in the ground right now. You don't know what is happening, but something is happening. That seed is like, yeah, there's a whole parable of, the seed being in the ground. The seed has to die in order for the fruit to come through. So it can feel like death. It can feel dark. But this is why I say to clients, and I'll say to you too, make sure you're writing out your goals on a regular basis. I would say daily basis. You're defining who you are every single day. Because when you're going through that valley period, you will start to question everything. You need to understand that nothing's actually changed about you. As in, you are still that person who is able to make a difference to people. You are still that person with a message, with a mission, with a vision that you want to bring to life. So it may look as if nothing is changing, but you haven't changed. Just because you're feeling self-doubt and you're wondering if it's ever going to work, doesn't actually mean that anything about you has changed. You are still capable of making a difference to people, but you need to remind yourself of this, or else you will fall off track and start following, oh, maybe I should try that, and maybe I should try that. And I can't tell you the number of times I did this. And I see this with clients, and it's like, no, 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 come back to your path. Because every time you take some weird detour off to where you think is going to be easier and faster, it's just adding time to your struggle. Are you done with the suffering? Because if you are, you need to go through, not keep trying to find some kind of shortcut here, there, and everywhere. There is no shortcut. Okay, let's just accept it. There's no shortcut. There is you being consistent, knowing your why, knowing the reason why you're doing this, knowing who you are, celebrating the small little wins. Get yourself into some kind of mastermind or group or something that supports you, or else it's just you trying to figure this stuff out alone, which is just plain hard. Okay. This is why I make my stuff accessible. It's because you need to, for you to stay long term with something, you need support. Because if not, you'll just start listening to the crazy voice in your head telling you, oh, well, maybe this is not going to work and I'm wasting all my time and I'm never going to get anywhere. And Stop trying to be a lone wolf. Stop trying to be alone, because what you start to think that what you're thinking is reasonable. But it's not. It's not, but you don't know any better. And so you think you're being reasonable, but what you're doing is taking yourself off path. You're listening to doubt, and doubt is even worse than fear. I'll tell you that right now. Doubt always sounds reasonable. It always sounds as if it's common sense. Always. And then it takes you off path. And you think you're being reasonable. You think you're being sensible. But what you're being is you're going back to your old way of doing things, which you're sure of because that's your comfort zone. But what you're also sure of is that you didn't want to stay there. So if you want something different, you can't listen to doubt. But doubt doesn't shout and say, I'm doubt. It feeds you what seems to be reasonable. And if you've not put yourself in an environment where someone like me can say to you, honey, I know that seems reasonable, but it's not getting you where you want to go. If you don't hear that, if you don't have somebody telling you that, you'll be way off your path before finally you realize, how did I get back here again? This is not where I wanted to be. So please put yourself in an environment. Come into the Deliberate Millionaire Gathering. Come into the Deliberate Millionaire Gathering where you can ask questions within the group, and I can come and speak into your life. Say, I know that sounds wonderful, but actually it's not getting you where you want to go. Okay? Listen, there are 3 stages. I'll just repeat this again as we bring this to a close. The first stage, you will feel excited and everything will feel as if it's going to happen in 3 seconds flat, and you'll even start to get some results. This also happens when people are trying to, do the whole manifesting thing and learn how to manifest. You do something. It's like I take people through the 7-day or 14-day miracle experiment, and they get unexpected income. But the thing is, in order to keep getting that income, in order to keep growing your income, there's other things that need to happen. And this is where people don't want to do the other things. They keep wanting you because we're divine beings. We have the power to create whatever. Yes, but you also need to clear your channel. You also need to have a strategy because I don't know anyone who creates consistent 10K months just by manifesting it. Basically, manifestation is part of the process. And I mean, in some ways, building a business is manifesting a business, bringing it from an idea in your head to whatever. But people have this idea, there's especially spiritual people, sometimes this idea of magic buttons, and you can have a magic button. That's that first stage. But then you have to go through the valley of broadening your wealth consciousness, applying a strategy consistently, clearing the noise, the nonsense and drama that keeps you away from connection to the divine and keeps you away from connection within yourself. This stuff has to be done. Again, business growth is extreme. Spiritual growth, it has to happen. You have to become the person that can carry the vision. And so you have to go through the valley. At least right now you do. As I said, at some point you'll learn how to grow through joy rather than growing through struggle. But until you're there, you're not there. So you have to grow where you're at right now. Okay? So don't quit in the middle of stage 2. Because if you're anything like me, and I used to be this person that quit as soon as things got hard, you still come back and have to start again anyway. Because you deeply desire a life where you're living on purpose and doing it profitably. So at some point, you're going to come back unless you become one of those people that just kind of settles for a, oh, well, I tried it and it didn't work for me kind of life. But that's not who you are. Sometimes, yes, you need to take a break, but there's still daily musts that you must commit to doing, even when you're going through that valley, because you will come out to stage 3 where things look amazing. You deserve to live a life on purpose, to experience the joy of living profitably and purposefully. Imagine that. Waking up every morning knowing that you get to make the difference that you're here to make with people you want to make it with, making the money you want to make, having the time to do things the way you want to do them, to travel. That can be your life if you will go through stage 1, stage 2, the darkness and the valley, and stage 3, get to stage 3, and then do it again and again and again, knowing that you're always expanding, always becoming more. Give up this need for instant gratification and start to look at your life as a life that is forever expanding, even when you're going through those crazy dark times and it feels like nothing is shifting. Things are shifting as long as you stay consistent, doing your daily musts daily. This is your life. Give yourself the opportunity to enjoy it. Okay? Okay, that's my 2 cents here for today. You are the authority in your life. Know that. You have all of the choices. Okay. Until the next time, my loves, go forth and prosper. Share this with somebody else. Go and get a copy of my book, Remove the Blocks, Come Into My World, and I'll tell you more about the different ways I can help you stay the course to bring your vision to life. Much amazing love. Bye.